20 massive warships moved through the darkness of space. Their silver hulls gleamed under distant stars. These ships belonged to the Galactic Empire, the most powerful force in the galaxy for 10,000 years. Inside the lead ship called Dominator, Admiral Toll stood on the command bridge. His scaled skin glowed blue in the dim light. He looked at the view screen with confidence. "How much longer until we reach this Earth?" he asked. The words sounded strange coming from his mouth. 3 hours, Admiral," Commander Mox replied. "Our scout ships already checked the planet. These humans have weak defenses." "Very weak." Admiral Toll smiled. "This would be easy. Too easy." The Emperor sent him to make first contact with new species many times before. But humans? They barely reached their own moon. Their technology was old and simple. Their planet had many different countries fighting each other. "They will join the Empire quickly," Admiral Toll thought, "just like all the others." But Admiral Toll made one big mistake. A mistake that would change everything. He did not know that humans were watching. Watching and waiting. Preparing. For months, human telescopes tracked the Imperial ships. They saw them coming from far away, very far away, and humans had a plan. The arrival. The Imperial fleet arrived at Earth's solar system. Admiral Toll ordered his ships into intimidation formation. This formation worked on hundreds of species before. It showed massive power. It made other species afraid. "Look at them," Commander Mox laughed, pointing at the view screen. "They sent their little ships to meet us. Those tiny things run on chemical rockets. How primitive." Admiral Toll saw the human ships on screen. Small vessels. Clumsy design. Nothing impressive. "Open communication channels," he ordered. "Let's see if these humans can even talk properly." The screen flickered. A human face appeared. General Tom, head of Earth's Defense Command. But something surprised Admiral Toll. General Tom looked calm. Too calm. Most species showed fear when they first saw the Imperial fleet. But this human showed no fear at all. "First contact goes wrong. Unknown vessels," General Tom said. "You entered restricted space. Identify yourselves." Admiral Toll stood tall. Almost 8 feet tall. He wanted to show his power. "I am Admiral Toll of the Galactic Empire," he announced. "Your planet has been noticed by Emperor Dra, ruler of 1,000 worlds. We offer you a chance to join our glorious empire as a protected territory." The words sounded good to Admiral Toll. Other species always accepted this offer. They had no choice. But General Tom did not smile. He did not look happy or scared. "And if we're not interested?" the human asked. Admiral Toll felt surprised. No species ever asked this question before. "Then we would be forced to show you the benefits of our protection," Admiral Toll said, his voice cold now. "Your world faces many dangers in this galaxy. It would be unfortunate if you faced them alone." General Tom nodded slowly. "I see. Let me be clear, Admiral. Earth is not interested in becoming anyone's protected territory. We welcome peaceful relations, but we will defend our independence." Commander Mox burst out laughing. "Defend? With what? Those metal cans you call spaceships?" General Tom's eyes became hard, cold. "We may not have your advanced technology, Admiral," he said, "but humans have something your empire lacks. Respect for others. I suggest you reconsider your approach." The screen went black. The transmission ended. Admiral Toll stared at the empty screen. A strange feeling grew in his chest. Something felt wrong. Most species submitted immediately. These humans were either very brave or very foolish. The moment everything changed, "They cut the transmission," Commander Mox shouted. "They disrespect the Empire." Admiral Toll thought for a moment. "Send a scout ship closer to their orbital stations. Let's see how they react." One small Imperial ship moved toward Earth. It approached the human space stations. Advanced sensors scanned everything. "Admiral," the sensor officer called out, "the humans are launching something." On the view screen, they saw a small human vessel. It looked boxy, quickly built. Nothing special. Are they trying to attack us? Commander Mox laughed. With that. But Admiral Toll was not laughing. Something felt very wrong. Order our scout ship to maintain distance, he commanded. Too late. The human vessel suddenly moved fast. Very fast. It reached the Imperial scout ship and attached itself to the hull. What are they doing? Admiral Toll demanded. Then a bright flash of light filled the screen. When the light cleared, the Imperial scout ship floated dead in space. All systems offline. Disabled. The human vessel detached and flew back to Earth quickly. The shock. Complete silence filled the command bridge. Impossible, Commander Mox whispered. They disabled an Imperial ship. How? Admiral Toll felt cold fear for the first time in his long career. Analysis, he shouted. What happened to our scout ship? The science officer checked his instruments. His hands shook. It appears to be an electromagnetic pulse weapon, Admiral. Simple technology, but very effective. Our scout ship is rebooting now. Simple technology, but it worked. No newly discovered species ever damaged an Imperial vessel during first contact. Never. In the entire history of the Empire. This was impossible. Admiral, we're receiving another transmission, the communications officer said. General Tom appeared on screen again. His calm face showed no emotion. That was a warning shot, Admiral. We prefer peace, but we are prepared for the alternative. You have 24 hours to leave our solar system. The transmission ended. Admiral Toll stood frozen. These humans showed no fear. They fought back, and they won. Recall all ships, he finally ordered. His voice was quiet. We need to report this to the Emperor. These humans are unusual. As the Imperial fleet retreated, Admiral Toll looked at the blue planet Earth on the view screen. For the first time in his long career, he felt uncertain. This isn't over, he said quietly. The Empire doesn't tolerate resistance. We'll be back, humans. And next time, we won't underestimate you. But what Admiral Toll did not know was this. The Empire's worst nightmare was just beginning. Because humans were not primitive. They were not weak. They were just waiting. And what they built in secret would shock the entire galaxy. 3 months passed since Admiral Toll's embarrassing defeat at Earth. The Imperial Council chambers buzzed with angry voices. Emperor Dra sat on his massive throne, his skin glowing with bright patterns. These patterns showed his anger, his frustration. Admiral Toll stood before the Emperor. He explained what happened. Again, for the 20th time. And you are certain their technology was primitive? Emperor Dra asked. His voice echoed through the chamber. Yes, Emperor, Admiral Toll replied. They still use combustion engines. Chemical rockets. Their disabling of our scout ship was lucky. Just lucky. But Admiral Toll did not sound confident. He did not believe his own words anymore. Emperor Dra's eyes narrowed. Then we shall send a proper greeting force. We will show these humans what it means to defy the Galactic Empire. Before Admiral Toll could respond, something happened. A junior officer burst into the chamber. He was running, breathing hard, breaking all protocol. Forgive me, Emperor, he gasped. He dropped to his knees. Long-range sensors detected something. Something entering our controlled space in Sector 7. The impossible news. What is it? Emperor Dra demanded. The junior officer trembled. His voice shook. It appears to be a human ship, sir. Laughter filled the council chamber. Loud laughter. Mocking laughter. One small human ship? This was hardly a threat. Why interrupt the Emperor's council for this? And this required interrupting our council? Emperor Dra asked coldly. The officer's face went pale. Sir, the ship is massive, nearly the size of our largest battle cruiser. And the energy readings, they're off the charts. The laughter died instantly. Complete silence. Impossible, Admiral Toll whispered. They were just figuring out how to reach their own moon. Emperor Dra rose from his throne. His massive form towered over everyone. Captain Ven, he called out. A tall, slender figure stepped forward from the shadows. Captain Ven was famous throughout the Empire. The best strategist, the smartest officer. Half his face was covered with metallic implants that made him even smarter. "Take your battle group," Emperor Dra commanded. "Intercept this human vessel. Find out if it truly is from Earth. And if so, how did they advance so quickly?" Captain Ven bowed low. "As you command, Emperor." The interception. Captain Ven's battle group arrived at Sector 7. 5 sleek warships arranged themselves in attack formation. Weapons powered up. Shields at maximum. On the bridge of the lead ship Invincible, Captain Ven studied the view screen. His organic eye looked normal. His mechanical eye processed data at incredible speed. "There it is," his second-in-command said quietly. Captain Ven zoomed in on the object. What he saw made him stop breathing. The ship was massive, as large as their biggest battle cruiser, but completely different design. Imperial ships were sleek, elegant, beautiful. This human vessel was blocky, heavy, overbuilt. Thick armor plating covered every surface. Multiple systems ran everywhere. Nothing elegant about it. "That can't be a human warship," Captain Ven said slowly, his voice barely a whisper. "Is that possible, sir?" his officer asked. "They're hailing us," the communications officer reported. "On screen," Captain Ven ordered. He straightened his uniform. "Captain Jack appears." The view screen flickered. A human face appeared. He wore a simple dark uniform. No fancy decorations. His expression was calm, confident. "This is Captain Jack of the Earth vessel Defiance," the human said. "We come in peace. We request diplomatic talks with the Galactic Empire." Captain Ven studied the human carefully. This Captain Jack showed no fear, no nervousness, like he faced Imperial warships every day. "This is Captain Ven of the Imperial Defense Fleet," he replied. "Your ship's capabilities exceed our intelligence reports on human technology. Explain yourselves." Captain Jack smiled slightly, a small, knowing smile. "Captain, we've been watching the stars for centuries. Did you really think we would announce all our capabilities to the first aliens who arrived?" Captain Ven felt shocked. "You're claiming this level of advancement was hidden when we first contacted Earth?" "Not hidden," Captain Jack said. "Just not displayed. Your Admiral Toll didn't exactly make a good first impression." The truth revealed. Captain Ven's tactical mind raced. Racing with questions. With concerns. If the humans deceived them about their technology, what else did they hide? "Sir," his science officer whispered urgently. He leaned close. "Our scans show their power source is some form of controlled fusion. But it's using principles our scientists believed were impossible to stabilize." Captain Ven kept his face neutral, calm. But inside, fear grew. "Captain Jack," he said, "the Emperor has authorized me to conduct preliminary negotiations. Would you be willing to come aboard my vessel?" "I'd be delighted," Captain Jack replied. "But I must insist on bringing a small security detail. For diplomatic purposes. Of course, we'll prepare a shuttle bay for your arrival." As the communication ended, Captain Ven turned to his crew. "Full analysis of that ship," he ordered. "I want to know everything about it before they arrive. And alert the Emperor immediately." The meeting. 1 hour later. Captain Jack stood in the grand meeting room of the Invincible. 3 human officers accompanied him. They showed no signs of being impressed by the Imperial technology around them. No wonder. This worried Captain Ven even more. "Your ship is quite remarkable," Captain Ven began. He gestured for the humans to sit. "Our scientists are particularly interested in your power source." Captain Jack nodded. "Simple fusion, really? We've been working on it for centuries. But the containment field you're using shouldn't be possible," the Imperial science officer said. "The energy required to maintain such stability would exceed the output." One of the human officers smiled. A woman with short gray hair. "That would be true if you approached the problem from an energy containment perspective," she said. "We approached it from a material science angle instead." Material science? Captain Ven repeated, confused. While you were developing energy fields to contain plasma, Captain Jack explained, we were developing materials that could physically hold it. Different path. Same destination. Captain Ven felt a chill run down his spine. The Empire always focused on energy manipulation. They considered physical materials a primitive approach. Inefficient. Wrong. Had they been wrong all this time? The hidden truth. And your weapon systems? Captain Ven asked carefully. We prefer not to discuss those unless necessary, Captain Jack replied. We're here to talk peace, not war. Captain Ven nodded slowly. Of course. However, you must understand our concern. 3 months ago, you were barely able to reach your own moon. Now you arrive in a warship rivaling our best vessels. As I said, Captain, Jack's eyes hardened slightly. We've been watching the stars for a long time. We knew we weren't alone, so we prepared. When your Admiral Toll arrived making threats, we simply accelerated our timeline. Before Captain Ven could respond, his communication device buzzed. Excuse me, he said. He stepped away to take the message. Sir, came the urgent voice of his sensor officer. We've detected energy signatures from the human vessel. They've activated some sort of weapon system. Captain Ven glanced back at the humans. They sat calmly. No signs of hostility. No tension. Are they targeting us? He whispered. No, sir. But the energy output, it's off the charts. Whatever they're powering up could potentially disable our entire battle group. The final shock. Captain Ven returned to the table, his face carefully composed, hiding his fear. Captain Jack, he said, our sensors indicate your ship has activated weapon systems. Care to explain? Captain Jack's expression did not change. Still calm, still confident. Just a precaution, Captain. Your Emperor has dispatched another fleet to our location. They'll arrive within the hour. We wanted to be prepared, just in case diplomacy fails. Captain Ven felt his hearts racing, both of them pounding. How did the humans detect the reinforcements? Imperial sensors were the best in the galaxy. How did humans build even better sensors? I assure you, there's no need for weapons, Captain Ven said, trying to keep his voice steady. The Emperor merely wishes to ensure these talks proceed smoothly. Of course, Captain Jack said, that small smile again. Then we'll continue our discussion. Now, about establishing formal diplomatic relations between Earth and your empire. As the talks continued, Captain Ven could not shake one feeling. One terrible feeling. Everything the Empire thought they knew about humans was wrong. Completely wrong. And that realization terrified him more than any weapon ever could. Cliffhanger ending. What Captain Ven did not know was this. The human ship Defiance was just the beginning. Just the first. And what the Empire would learn next would shake their entire civilization to its core. Because humans did not just build one ship. They built something much, much bigger. The Grand Imperial Council chamber fell into complete silence. Captain Ven finished his report about the human vessel Defiance, about their impossible technology, about their hidden capabilities. Even Emperor Dra seemed shaken. His luminescent patterns pulsed erratically across his massive form. The patterns showed confusion, fear, something the Emperor rarely felt. You mean to tell me, Emperor Dra said slowly, that these humans achieved controlled fusion using material containment rather than energy fields? Captain Ven nodded, his cybernetic eye whirred as it projected data onto the large screen behind him. Yes, Emperor, and that's just the beginning. Their approach to technology is fundamentally different from ours. Admiral Toll stepped forward. His scales had turned pale yellow from stress. Different how? He demanded. The human philosophy, where we pursue elegant solutions with minimal components, Captain Ven explained. They build redundant, over-engineered systems. Where we refine and perfect, they iterate and improvise. He paused. Let the words sink in. Most importantly, they've developed along technological paths we abandoned centuries ago. Paths we considered inefficient. The council chamber erupted in murmurs. Angry voices, confused voices. The Empire always prided itself on elegant technological solutions. Systems that worked with perfect efficiency, minimal waste, maximum performance. The idea that a species would deliberately choose a different path seemed almost offensive. Emperor Dra raised a massive hand for silence. "Bring in the human delegates," he commanded. "I wish to hear this from them directly." The humans arrive. Minutes later, Captain Jack and his team were escorted into the chamber. They walked past hundreds of Imperial officers, past the most powerful leaders in the galaxy. But they showed no signs of intimidation, no fear. They walked like equals. "Captain Jack of Earth," Emperor Dra's voice boomed across the chamber. "Your ship has caused quite a stir among my advisors. We find ourselves curious about human technology." Captain Jack bowed slightly, respectfully but not submissively. "We are happy to explain, Emperor. Though I should warn you, I'm a soldier, not a scientist. Dr. Anna here would be better suited to answer technical questions." The woman with gray hair stepped forward. The same woman from the previous meeting. "Perhaps I can clarify some misconceptions," Dr. Anna said. Her voice was calm, professional. "When we detected your scout ships approaching our solar system months ago, we realized we needed to accelerate our plans." "You knew we were coming?" Admiral Toll asked, surprised. Dr. Anna smiled. "We've been watching the stars for centuries, Admiral. Our telescopes detected your ships long before you entered our system." "Impossible," the Imperial Science Advisor snorted. "Your technology couldn't possibly." "Actually," Dr. Anna interrupted politely, "while our space travel technology was indeed limited, our observational equipment is quite advanced. We've been studying the universe from our planet's surface for hundreds of years." The demonstration. Dr. Anna tapped a small device on her wrist. A holographic display appeared in the center of the room. It showed the internal workings of the Defiance. Every system, every component. The Imperial Council leaned forward, fascinated, worried. "The fundamental difference in our approach is this," Dr. Anna explained. "Your empire builds ships like fine jewelry, precise, elegant, minimal." She paused for effect. "We build ships like fortresses, redundant, robust, over-engineered." The hologram zoomed in on the ship's power core. "The fusion reactor. Take our fusion reactor," she continued. "You contain plasma with energy fields, which is elegant but vulnerable to power fluctuations." The Imperial officers nodded. This was true. "We contain it with layers of specially developed materials that can physically withstand the heat and pressure." "But that's so inefficient," the science advisor protested. "Inefficient but reliable," Dr. Anna countered. "If your energy field fails, your reactor fails. If one of our containment layers fails, we have 5 more backups." A heavy silence fell over the chamber. Emperor Dra leaned forward on his throne, genuinely intrigued. "And this philosophy extends to all your systems?" "Yes." Captain Jack stepped forward again. "Our ships don't have a single computer core. They have dozens of smaller ones that can take over if others fail." He gestured to the hologram. "We don't have one power distribution system. We have 6 separate grids. It's not elegant, but it's hard to kill." The weapons revelation. The hologram shifted to show the ship's weapon systems. The Imperial Council grew noticeably tense, nervous. "As for our weapons," Captain Jack continued, "we focused on kinetic energy rather than energy beams. Simple physics, mass times, acceleration." He pointed to what looked like gun barrels on the hologram. "We fire small projectiles at nearly the speed of light." "Primitive ballistic weapons," Commander Mock scoffed. He stood in the back of the chamber. "How outdated." "Primitive concept, advanced execution," Captain Jack corrected calmly. "Each projectile masses only a few grams, but at near light speed, it carries enough energy to disable a ship of your size." The room fell completely silent. The implications sank in slowly, terribly. Such weapons would bypass the Empire's sophisticated energy shields. Shields designed to deflect energy weapons. not physical objects moving at incredible speeds. The difficult questions. Why reveal all this to us? Emperor Dra finally asked. Surely this gives away your tactical advantages. Captain Jack's expression grew serious. Determined. Because we want peace, not war. Earth has no interest in conquest. We built the Defiance as a deterrent, not an invasion force. Dr. Anna added, we've been watching your empire expand for decades. We saw how you absorbed other species, sometimes peacefully, sometimes not. We decided it would be better to negotiate from a position of strength. Emperor Dra's bioluminescent patterns pulsed rapidly, a sign of deep thought among his species. And if we declined peaceful relations? He asked. If we decided your technology posed a threat to the Empire? Captain Jack's voice remained calm, but his eyes hardened. The Defiance isn't our only ship, Emperor. It's just the first one we decided to reveal. The shocking truth, the implications hung in the air like a physical weight. If humans had been hiding this level of technological advancement, what else were they concealing? Admiral Toll's face showed pure shock. You're bluffing. Our scans detected no other ships of this capability in your system. Because they're not in our system, Captain Jack replied. After your first visit, we dispersed our fleet. Standard human military protocol. Never keep all your assets in one place. A junior officer rushed into the chamber. Breaking protocol. Again. He whispered urgently to Admiral Toll. Admiral Toll's scales paled even further. Almost white now. Emperor, Admiral Toll said shakily. Long-range sensors have detected energy signatures similar to the Defiance's in 7 different sectors of Imperial space. The final revelation. Emperor Dra stood abruptly, towering over everyone in the room. Is this an invasion, Captain Jack? No, Emperor, Captain Jack replied calmly. It's insurance. Those ships have orders to maintain position unless Earth is attacked. They're observers only. The screen behind them split to show feeds from multiple locations. 7 different human ships. Each one visible on Imperial sensors now. Each one looking different from the Defiance. Some larger, some smaller, but all sharing the same blocky, overbuilt design philosophy. Each of these ships is specialized, Captain Jack explained. Some for defense, others for support, others for combat. Together, they form the first human interstellar fleet. He paused. Let the weight of his words sink in. A small demonstration of what we can build when necessary. Emperor Dra understood the implicit threat immediately. The Empire had always relied on its technological advantage to maintain control. If the humans could build ships that rendered Imperial weapons ineffective, everything changed. And if we refuse your terms? The Emperor asked quietly. Then we'll defend ourselves, Captain Jack said simply. But we hope it won't come to that. We're offering partnership, not surrender. The Emperor stood silent, thinking, calculating. For the first time in his long reign, he faced a species the Empire could not simply overwhelm. What happened next would determine the fate of the entire galaxy. Would the proud Empire accept humans as equals? Or would they choose war? A war they might actually lose? The Imperial War Room hummed with activity. Holographic displays showed star maps, battle formations, weapon systems. Admiral Toll paced nervously before the massive screen. His scales flickered with different colors. Yellow, gray, signs of stress. Emperor Dra entered the room. His luminescent patterns pulsed deep red, a sign of anger. The diplomatic talks have failed, Emperor Dra announced. His voice echoed through the chamber. The humans refuse to submit to Imperial oversight. They demand recognition as an independent power. Admiral Toll bowed low. What are your orders, Emperor? Deploy the Imperial Armada, Emperor Dra commanded. Show these upstart humans the true might of our empire. 20 battle cruisers should be enough to deal with one ship, regardless of its unusual technology. Captain Ven, standing quietly in the corner, stepped forward. With respect, Emperor, I believe we should reconsider. The humans have demonstrated capabilities we don't fully understand. Emperor Dra turned his massive head toward Captain Ven. His eyes narrowed. Are you suggesting we allow a primitive species to dictate terms to the Empire? That we show weakness? Not weakness. Caution. Captain Ven replied carefully. At least until we better understand their technology. Your caution is noted, Captain, Emperor Dra said coldly. But the decision is made. Admiral Toll will lead the attack personally. The Armada assembles. Hours later, Admiral Toll stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship Conqueror. Behind him, 19 more battle cruisers arranged themselves in perfect formation. The most impressive battle formation the Empire had assembled in decades. 20 sleek, deadly warships, their energy weapons charged, shields at maximum strength. Before them floated the Defiance. Alone, seemingly vulnerable. This blocky, overbuilt design looked crude, primitive, next to the elegant Imperial vessels. Open communication channels, Admiral Toll ordered. Captain Jack's face appeared on the main screen. He looked remarkably calm. Too calm for someone facing overwhelming odds. Captain Jack, Admiral Toll declared, this is your final opportunity to surrender your vessel and submit to Imperial authority. Your ship is impressive, but it cannot stand against the Imperial Armada. Captain Jack smiled slightly. That same small smile. Admiral, we came here seeking peace. You chose war. What happens next is on your conscience, not ours. You threaten us with a single ship? Admiral Toll laughed. Your confidence borders on madness. Not confidence. Mathematics, Captain Jack replied. You still don't understand what you're facing, but you will. The transmission ended abruptly. The battle begins. Prepare all weapons, Admiral Toll ordered. Target their propulsion systems first. I want that ship disabled, not destroyed. The 20 Imperial battlecruisers moved into attack position, surrounding the Defiance from all sides. On Admiral Toll's command, they fired simultaneously. Energy weapons lit up the darkness of space. Beautiful but deadly. 20 beams of pure energy converging on one target. Then something impossible happened. The energy beams seemed to bend, curve around the human vessel, like water sliding off a smooth surface. Not a single beam hit the Defiance. What happened? Admiral Toll demanded. Report. Sir, the weapons officer stammered, his voice shaking. They appear to have some sort of gravitational shield. It's bending our energy weapons away from the hull. Impossible, Admiral Toll hissed. No shield technology can. Sir, the sensor officer interrupted. The human ship is powering up its weapon systems. The counterattack. On the view screen, they watched panels slide open along the Defiance's hull, revealing what looked like primitive gun barrels. They're using projectile weapons in space? Admiral Toll scoffed. How primitive. But the sensor officer's voice shook as he replied. Sir, those aren't ordinary projectiles. They're accelerating to near light speed. The energy readings are off the charts. Before Admiral Toll could respond, the Defiance fired. There was no beam of light, no visible energy discharge, just silent, invisible death. One of their most advanced battle cruisers suddenly went dark. Systems offline, drifting in space. A small metal projectile, no bigger than a finger, had punched through its hull at near light speed. Kinetic energy was enormous, devastating. The ship's shields, designed to stop energy weapons, offered no protection against physical objects moving at such speeds. Evasive maneuvers, Admiral Toll shouted, his composure finally breaking. All ships, scatter formation. The slaughter, but the Defiance was already firing again, and again, and again. Each shot precisely targeted, devastatingly effective. Imperial battle cruisers, the pride of their fleet, were being disabled one by one. Technology the Empire had dismissed as inefficient centuries ago was destroying them. Sir, we've lost 6 ships already, the communications officer reported. 3 completely destroyed. 3 disabled. How? Admiral Toll demanded, his voice cracking. How can one ship do this? The science officer looked up from his console, his face pale, terrified. Their firing solution is perfect, sir. They've calculated the exact point to hit each ship to disable its primary systems with minimal damage. And their rate of fire, it's beyond anything we've ever seen. On the main screen, they watched the Defiance methodically target another Imperial vessel. This time they could see more clearly. The human ship fired a small metal projectile. Tiny, but moving at near light speed. Its kinetic energy was enormous. It punched through the Imperial ship's hull like paper. The truth sinks in. Sir, they're hailing us. The communications officer said quietly. Captain Jack's face appeared again, his expression now serious. Grave. Admiral Toll, you've lost 9 ships. None of your weapons can penetrate our gravitational shields. Please stop this before more lives are lost. Admiral Toll stared at the screen in disbelief. Half his fleet, disabled or destroyed, in less than 10 minutes, without the human ship taking a single hit. What are you? He whispered. Just humans, Admiral, Captain Jack replied. We simply took a different path. While you perfected energy weapons, we focused on kinetics. While you built elegant single-core computers, we built redundant networks. While you refined minimal designs, we overbuilt everything. Another Imperial battle cruiser exploded silently in the background, emphasizing his point. Our shields aren't energy fields trying to stop your weapons, Captain Jack continued. They're gravitational lenses, bending space itself to divert your attacks. Different approach. Better results. The retreat. Admiral Toll felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries. Fear. Pure, undeniable fear. The Empire always believed its technology was the pinnacle of advancement, that elegant solutions were inherently superior. Now, faced with the brutal effectiveness of human engineering, he was no longer certain. Stand down all weapons, he finally ordered, his voice barely audible. All ships, cease fire. A collective gasp went through the bridge. Never in living memory had an Imperial fleet retreated from battle. Never. Sir? The weapons officer questioned uncertainly. You heard me, Admiral Toll said more firmly. We cannot win this fight. Not today. He turned back to the screen, faced Captain Jack. We will withdraw our forces, Captain. But know this. The Empire does not forget. And it does not forgive. This is not over. Captain Jack nodded solemnly. We hope for peace, Admiral. But we're prepared for the alternative. Safe journey home. The aftermath. As the remaining Imperial ships limped away, Admiral Toll stared at the Defiance through the view screen. One ship. One single ship had defeated half the Imperial Armada. The implications were staggering. Terrifying. Set course for the capital, he ordered quietly. The Emperor must be informed immediately. As the Imperial flagship entered faster than light travel, Admiral Toll couldn't shake one feeling. Everything had changed. The Empire ruled the galaxy for millennia based on one assumption: technological superiority. That assumption had just been shattered, destroyed by a species they dismissed as primitive just months ago. And if the humans built one such warship, how many more might they have? The thought sent a chill down his spine. The age of Imperial dominance might be coming to an end. News of the defeat would spread across the galaxy. Thousands of worlds, hundreds of species, all learning the same shocking truth. The mighty Empire had lost. To humans, how would the galaxy react? What would the Emperor do? And what did the humans want?